YouTube. Welcome back to another episode of K Palace. I'm your host, K Dub. I'm gonna be for real. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. We're gonna speak about the NFL draft real quick before we get to some NBA stuff. Before we get into some NBA stuff. I'll, um, let's get right into it. Let's just get the first little bit out the way. I don't really watch the NFL until like the Eagles play. Obviously, I know like majority of the players that play, but as far as like me being into the sport of football, I'm not really that guy. That's why this podcast is mostly like basketball related. So, um, yesterday the NFL draft took place. Travis Hunter went second round to the Jacksonville Jaguars after the Jaguars had traded with the Browns to get the second pick in the draft. So Travis Hunter goes to the Jaguars where he'll play wide receiver and cornerback, according to him. He had mentioned in the interview that he didn't really do any meetings for the Jaguars. So it's very interesting how they picked him anyway. Um, so shout out to Travis Hunter, come from Colorado, playing with Deion, Coach Prime. Obviously, his teammate Shedeur Sanders, which we're going to get into as well. But like I said, I'm not really too much into like the football. I just know that the Jaguars weren't good last year. As far as like their record and their quarterback not really playing as well, and Trevor Lawrence, from what I've heard. I'm just going off of like record. So the Jaguars weren't good at all last year. The year before they had made some noise, I believe, but obviously last year they didn't. So yeah, so we'll see what happens with Travis Hunter in Jacksonville. Obviously, he'll be the best player over there. No offense to Trevor Lawrence, but Travis Hunter's going to be the best. He's going to be the best player over there. If he plays well and during his rookie season, if he plays well. Now, as far as Shedeur Sanders, he went undrafted in the first round, but that doesn't mean that he won't get drafted today, which is the second round. The second round is today. Um, yeah, I was very shocked that he didn't get drafted. It didn't make sense. I think the Giants had the third pick, and they picked like a linebacker. I think Abdul Carter. I think I don't know him. I just know like that. I just remember like the name off the top of my head. And then like the Steelers had the 21st pick, and they didn't even draft him. The Steelers had like 2, 3 picks in the first round. They didn't draft a quarterback, uh, which they need, according to everybody that I've heard talk about football, that they need a quarterback, and that they were waiting on Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers hasn't decided nothing yet, but obviously the Steelers had got a DK Metcalf in free agency. With the other wide receiver Pickens. So you would think they would go get a quarterback in the draft or free agency. They didn't get Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson obviously goes to the Giants. Again, the Giants, they definitely trolled. I feel like a lot of teams in the first round, they trolled Shedeur. I think they went off the narrative of like the media saying, "Oh yeah, like his dad and everything, and how like, he be flexing and all that." And I think there was some reports how like he didn't do like the combine or something like that. Like he did the combine, but he didn't work out for certain teams and stuff. So that's what like the media kind of created. Like, oh yeah, like his dad's going to intervene in a lot of stuff that he got that he does if he goes to an organization. And you know what I mean? I think that's the reason why. But if you need a quarterback, go get Shedeur. Don't listen to the outside noise like, yeah, or like go off of what you've heard and then be like, yeah, no, we don't need that. You do need Shedeur. Like the Steelers don't have a quarterback, you need a Shedeur. The Giants, you want to prep for the future, you go get Shedeur. Now, obviously, he might back up Russell Wilson, or he might take some games where he'll be the starting quarterback over Russell Wilson, but But the Giants, as always, trash. They messed up their future again. First of all, you gave us Saquon. You gave us Saquon. Shout out Eagle Nation. You know, saying go Birds. Five was five. 2025 Super Bowl champs in the building. You gave us Saquon really for nothing. Not gonna lie, that was wild. But he won a Super Bowl in that, so I appreciate that of the Giants. I'll always have respect for the Giants because they gave us um, a superstar that won us a Super Bowl. So thank you to the Giants organization for that. But you have Malik Neighbors over there. You have Malik Neighbors on the Giants, and he needs a quarterback, somebody to throw him the ball. I think Malik Neighbors is really good. He's a really good wide receiver. He played really well his rookie year. I think he could have been even better if he had a more consistent quarterback. And the future could have been him and Shedeur. It could have been Malik Neighbors and Shedeur could have been your future. And then you go get like a running back and then you build from there. But y'all didn't do that. So that's tough for y'all. Personally, I don't care because obviously I'm an Eagles fan, so I don't really care. But you did sell your future away again. And then with the Vikings, I think the Vikings should took Shedeur. Justin Jefferson needs somebody to throw on the ball. Now, obviously, they made a deep playoff run. They had a great season last year, and Sam Darnold was the reason why Justin Jefferson was so successful. And they're probably thinking like, I don't know if we should go get a rookie quarterback to help. A rookie quarterback not going to help Justin Jefferson be happy long term in Minnesota. So I guess they decided to wait and see what Aaron Rodgers will do. Either he goes to the Vikings or Steelers or he'll retire. But I just think it's dumb to wait on a guy like Aaron Rodgers who's known for not making the best decisions. You see what happened with Devontae Adams. He goes to the Jets thinking it's going to be a Super Bowl contending team, and it turns out that they couldn't even get 2-3 games. They couldn't even get 5, 6, 7 wins last year, and the season ended up being a failure. And Devontae Adams wasted his time doing that, listening to Aaron Rodgers when he could have went elsewhere like the Chiefs. Yeah, he could have went to the Chiefs. Hell, he could have went to the Commanders. The Commanders went to the conference, the NFC Championship against us last year. If they had Devontae Adams, the Commanders probably would have been. They still wouldn't have beat us, but Devontae could have went to a lot of places like the Steelers. He could have went there. He could have went to the Bills. The Bills needed a wide receiver. The Chiefs. He could have went to the Chargers. Justin Herbert doesn't have a wide receiver to throw to. Could have went to the. Just trying to think. Obviously he's with the Rams now, but he could have went to the 49ers. Could have went to the Cowboys. So. He could have went to a lot of places, but I just don't think I think they just thought it would be like a reunion when in reality it wasn't that. So yes, unfortunately, hopefully Devontae can reinvent himself with the Rams. He's playing with Matthew Stafford, I think he's one of the best quarterbacks. I think he's underrated. He won a Super Bowl with the Rams. He can for sure throw the football. So him and Puka are going to have some great years next year. Unfortunately, they're not going to get far because the Eagles are still there. So yeah. But that's that. But Shedeur is going to get drafted. Where I think the Saints even had opportunity. They passed on him. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like the Browns had an opportunity, they didn't do it. I think they trolled Shedeur with the Jackson Dart pick, that was a big troll. That was like I think, but I do feel like Shedeur not getting drafted was a disrespect, to Shedeur as a whole because he's a great quarterback, in my opinion. I think he has a lot of potential, but I think teams are listening to the outside noise and not the media too much, and they're going off of like the negative, not the positive. But Shedeur can throw the football, like he hard worker, hasn't gotten in trouble, nothing like that. So I don't really see what the issue is. I mean, everybody's grown. I think Prime knows he can't really get involved like that when he goes to the NFL because I mean that's a different level than college. So obviously, a lot of decisions are going to be made within the NFL, not Prime, obviously. But you can't treat Shedeur like that because of the stuff y'all don't like about Prime and what he did back in the day. Like it's 2025. It's 2025, not 1995. Like whatever Prime did, don't hold that against Shedeur. That don't got nothing to do with him. You know what I'm saying? I think that's messed up. That y'all are using what Prime used to do towards the media and kind of putting it on Shedeur. That's messed up. But then again, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we got a great line, I think line, no, a defense out. Okay, so we got Jahad Campbell. Jahad Campbell. Yeah, we got him in the draft. I think he's from Alabama. So I think he's going to help us. Think he's the defensive end. I think he's a linebacker. It's over with. So yeah, we got another great addition. I love the energy when he went on stage. I love the energy. You know what I'm saying? We definitely need that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going back to getting the second Super Bowl next year. So shout out to my Eagles. But moving on, switching gears to the NBA. Memphis had a 30-point lead in the first half, and then Lou Dort kind of pump face and Ja kind of like he kind of like falls over him, and Ja lands on his stomach, and he doesn't return. But if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, you're at home and you have an almost 30-point lead on the best team in the league in OKC. You should maintain that, or at least try to maintain that and get the win. They let OKC come back in the second half and they won. I'm very disappointed how Memphis ended the game. And then when they cut it to 3, no, when they cut it to 5. Wait, I don't know if they gave his neck. Yeah, so Memphis lost by 6. They let the OKC come back and they went up by 1 point in the fourth quarter. Memphis, I'm gonna be honest. Ja needs help. I think Memphis needs, in my opinion, one more playmaker and they need some shooting. I think they lack shooting. Yeah, you got Luke Kennard, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson, but they're not consistent. Desmond Bain is probably the best 3-point shooter on the team. Some may argue it's Luke Kennard, Jaren Jackson, but I think Zach Edey needs to needs to like develop. I think Zach Edey needs to like develop because he can really he can do some damage. I just think, this is his first playoff game, his first, playoff series in his career, so he's not really used to all that pressure. But when Zach Edey develops, Zach Edey can be a very dominant big in this league. I mean, he's 7'4", he got all the tangibles. He just needs to get more experience, a little bit more experience, a little bit more development in a game, and kind of understand, different tactics within the game. And I think he can be a great big for the future in this league. But I just think right now it's just not Zach Edey's time to be as dominant as he wants to. And then with Ja, I just think, man, sometimes Ja takes a little bit. I think he takes too many risks, which can lead to injuries, such as last night. If Ja don't get hurt, If Ja don't get hurt, OKC don't go up 3-0. Like the series is obviously it would be 2-1 right now, man. 2-1 right now, OKC. with the league. Then they go back to Memphis, and then they tie up 2-2, and then whatever happens after that happens. But Memphis for sure could have gotten 2 games against OKC. They was up by 30. You got to maintain that. And now it's looking like Memphis is going to get swept. And if Ja don't play next series, if Ja doesn't play Game 4, it's a sweep, and they're going to lose by 40 probably. So, yeah, man. Memphis, you got to make some moves in the offseason. I don't think you should have fired your coach a week before the playoffs, which was dumb. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't have did that. Clearly, you see this coach is not doing good. You know what I mean? And when you watch the Grizzlies play, they don't play with the joy like they used to. It just looks like everybody has no respect for the coach. They're lacking effort. They're lacking, like, they don't look like a team no more. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's having fun, nobody's dancing, everybody looks frustrated. You know what I mean? And that's not how I want. That's how we don't want Ja to be upset, mad, or frustrated. Like, we want to see Ja with a smile, playing, dunking on people, and you know what I mean, hitting the gritty or doing the grenade. We want to see all that. But if you're not winning, then it can kind of turn off all that. It can kind of turn all that off. So I think in the off season they gotta get somebody to come to Memphis. I mean, I know it's Memphis and it's not the best city to play in or live in, because of the street stuff and all that goes around Memphis. But you gotta get somebody to come to Memphis. I mean, trying to rock out with the same team every year is not gonna cut it. You're gonna have to get an all-star in there. Like, whether I think the only person that doesn't really care about the living situation, from what I've noticed, is KD. If you can get KD to Memphis and kind of help them young guys, I think they can make a push. Because, like, KD doesn't really care where he goes. As long as he hoops, he can adapt, he can adjust. And KD wants out of Phoenix, so if they can get KD to Memphis, I think that would help them a little bit. I mean, you see what Golden State did. They got Jimmy. Obviously, Jimmy's out now, but I mean, if Memphis can get like a KD or somebody in that small forward position, they need a small forward, but they need an experienced small forward that's really good, that has playoff experience, that can really not only can they defend on the perimeter, but they can play make as well to take pressure off of Ja and Dez. You know what I mean? Because if we're being honest, I think Jaren Jackson, bro, all he do is shoot threes and get fouls and block shots. And if he can't calm down with the fouls, like, you gotta, I don't know, I just think Jaren Jackson fouls too much. I think Jaren Jackson he gets in foul trouble too much, to where he's not available in games like that for like the second half and stuff. So it's like, then you're relying on Desmond Bain. It's like, they just need, Memphis needs like two more big time players, I think. You know, OKC made some trades last year when they got Alex Caruso and Hartenstein. If you can get people to come to your city, I think that's important. But now you got all this going on in Memphis. It's like, nobody wants to go there, so you have to go. I feel like they would probably rather go to Charlotte and play with LaMelo than go to Memphis and have to deal with all that. But even with LaMelo, I think LaMelo, they can attract a star to Charlotte more than Memphis can, in my opinion. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's definitely going to be a sweep, in my opinion, if Ja don't play next game. Now, if Ja plays next game and they come out with the same effort, then it'll go to 5. But that's it. No team has ever came back from 3-0 except for me on 2K. Other than that, no. So I do have some breaking news regarding Jimmy. So Jimmy is out. He was diagnosed with a deep glute muscle contusion, and his status for Game 3 against Houston Rockets is in serious jeopardy. Yeah, so yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Um, but on the other side, we do have some other good news. Yesterday, Gilbert Arenas' son, Elijah Arenas, was in a car accident. He was driving a cyber truck. It crashed into a tree. There was smoke and fire involved, and they were able to get him out before it got really bad. And he was in the induced coma yesterday. So reports came out today that he's out of the coma, that he's awake. Um, so that's a good sign for Elijah. Obviously, he's going to USC next year. He's an All-American high school. He's a top five. Well, I'm gonna just say he's he's a five-star talent, five-star talent high school player. Now going to USC to play with the Trojans. Um, so yeah, it's good to see him alive, good spirits around family, around all that. So obviously there was no Gil's running yesterday regarding the news. So we'll see what happens going forward with Elijah. And yeah, but moving forward, um, yeah. So moving forward, the Knicks and Pistons. So the Knicks and Pistons. So Knicks Pistons, they were able to get. It was a very close game, a very obviously very defensive game. The Pistons had the Knicks all game, and then the Knicks came back on like a 23-6 run, something crazy. They went up 11, and the Knicks were just too much. Jalen Brunson was hitting big shots in the fourth, and Cat was hitting. I mean, Cat hit like 3, 4 threes in the first quarter. I mean, he was going off. Um, but the Knicks won by 2. Tobias had 0 points and 4 fouls going into the fourth. That was crazy. But Brunson and Cat were both combined for 61 points. Brunson had 30 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. Cat had 31 points, 8 rebounds, 2 blocks. Cat, let's see, Cat went 4 for 8 from the 3-point line, shot 50% from 3, 55, nearly 60% from the field. So a bounce back game, uh, a bounce back game for Cat. Obviously in game 2 he didn't play good. He had 10 points and 6 rebounds. So a huge bounce back with a 31 point game for Cat. But it got chippy. Mitchell Robinson and Paul Reed got into it. Yeah, they got into it. Cat kind of got involved as well. So yeah, it was a very chippy game. This has been a very interesting series, but I do think the Pistons are going to get Game 4 as they go back to Detroit. I believe they play on Sunday. I think the Pistons will get the win in Detroit. So yeah, so shout out to the Knicks. Obviously, Cade. Their first playoff game in Detroit, it was rocking. It was a packed house. I seen 4-2 Doug in there. I saw Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, Ben Wallace. I saw Rick Mahorn was in the building. I seen Rip Hamilton. So yeah, it was a packed house full of legends and full of current rappers in there. So shout out to Detroit for showing out. Um, but Cade, he did all he could do. He had 24 points, 11 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks, 7 rebounds. Dennis Schroeder had 18 off the bench, and yeah, Tim Hardaway had a bounce back game with 24 points. Obviously, no Isaiah Stewart, so their bigs, they were limited on bigs, And when they were down by two, I want to speak on this. They were down by two. Um, James Durham threw the ball out. They had no timeouts. They were throwing the ball to tie, possibly. The Pistons had their big man take the ball out. Their only big man, by the way. And James Durham threw the Cade, and the ball never even touched Cade. It went right out of bounds, and the Knicks had gained the ball back. In that situation, you would want like a Sarah Thompson to probably inbounce the ball to get it to Cade or James Durham to tie it. But that didn't happen. So yeah, we'll see what happens going forward. But all in all, it was a good game. I think the refs probably could have did better as far as officiating, but yeah. Well, 50 Cent on Terrence Crawford saying, wow, okay. Um, yeah, but the fuck is that? Hold on, chat. The fuck is this on my bed? Hold on, nah, chat, hold on. Anyway, chat, hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed the video, chat. I just got distracted by something I just seen on my bed just now. Um, I might gotta cut that out. Oh my god. Yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. Obviously, the Clippers blew out the Nuggets yesterday, so the Clippers and Nuggets go up 2-1 in the series. Um, so the Clippers won 117-83. Jokic had 23, 13, 13. I think Russ got hurt. So Russ got hurt. Um, Michael Porter didn't play good. He had 7 points. I think he got hurt as well with the shoulder. Um, and as far as on the Clippers, 3 players had 20. James Harden had 26 and 9. Zubac had 19 and 9. Kawhi had 21 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and Norman Powell had 20. Ben Simmons, yeah, he didn't do anything. 1 block, 1 steal, yeah. And then Batum had 12 off the bench, and Derrick Jones had 10. So the Clippers take a 2-1 lead against the Nuggets. I don't know what's going on with the Nuggets, but during some of the timeouts, I seen Jokic get a little frustrated with the coach. So that's something to watch going forward in the playoffs. But all in all, these playoff games have been very good. So as far as today, we have the Bucks and Pacers. The Bucks and Pacers. Yeah, we gotta see what happens with that. Yeah, we gotta see what happens with the Bucks and Pacers for tonight. But got the Celtics and Orlando. I'm gonna assume Tatum is not playing. I'm gonna assume that Orlando wins this game. I feel like they'll learn from the past 3 games. Well, the past 2 games, I should say. No, 3 games. No, they're back in Orlando today. So this is game 3. So let's see what they've learned from the past 2 games. See if they can get a win in Orlando. They got to get a win in Orlando. They got to. And then with the Bucks, you can't let you're back in Milwaukee. You're back at home. You can't let the Pacers. You just can't let them get under your skin. Can't let Tyrese Halliburton, talk his talk. You know what I mean? You gotta find some way to maintain Tyrese Halliburton and Siakam, and let the others be the star. And then that's how they'll probably lose the game. But the Bucks gotta come locked in. I think Brook Lopez needs to go back there. I think he needs to go to the bench, and Bobby Portis needs to start. I think Bobby Portis needs to start over Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez is not really playing as well. And then the same with Kyle Kuzma. I think with Kuzma, I think right now, I think Torian Prince should start at that small forward spot, and then for the shooting guard spot, I think either the AJ Green kid should start, or you try and do like a Kevin Porter and Dame backcourt, or a Dame and Gary Trent backcourt, because Torian Finney-Smith is not really a shooting guard. He's not really a shooting guard in my opinion. So I think they definitely need to make a lineup change. You know, but yeah. So that's that. And then obviously got the Lakers Timberwolves tonight. Hopefully the Lakers can win in Minnesota. I have a feeling that Minnesota might take this game. I don't think Ant is going to go for. I don't think Ant is going to get 12 points again. So yeah, I think the Timberwolves might bounce back today with some juice from the crowd in Minnesota. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. It's been a 30-minute episode. Oh my gosh. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the video, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe if you're new. Let's see where Shedeur ends up tonight, and let's see what the playoffs have in store for the rest of the weekend. But hopefully y'all enjoyed the video, man. Like, comment, subscribe if you're new, man. I'm gone.